Hi there, my friends. You want to write, you need to write, but when you sit down to actually write, the words don't come. What on earth are you going to do now? Hi there, my name's Lisa Oliver, blah, blah, blah. You can Google me, Lisa Oliver Author, or you can find me on Amazon by typing the same name. I've been writing and self-publishing for almost 10 years, and I make a comfortable living at what I do. But to do what I do and make the money that allows me to pay the rent on this place and everything you can see around you, I have to keep writing. And there are times when the words just will not come. Our muses are fickle beasts, and mine has been known to go on holiday, usually when I need him most. And that puts me in a position of having to write, but not being able to get those down words on the page. So what do I do? And what can you do if you're faced with the same situation? Firstly, we need to go through a quick checklist. And I just want to make a point here. I am really sorry about the lack of light in here, but as you can tell from my window at the back, the sun is just starting to set. And it got a bit darker in here a bit quicker than I thought, but I'm really sorry about that. Let's push on. Our quick checklist. Are you okay? Are you feeling okay? And when I ask you that, I'm talking about mentally, physically, emotionally. It is really, really difficult to write if you're not feeling well. If you do live with an ongoing condition or illness, then you will know that there are certain times, it might be parts of the day or parts of a week, when you feel more energized or you feel more capable of functioning than you might do on other days. And those are the sorts of things that you need to consider when you're looking at scheduling your writing time. Because if you want to write and you need to write and you are battling with an ongoing condition or illness, then you want to make it as easy for you as possible. So that's the first thing you need to think when you sit down to write. Are you feeling okay? The next thing you want to consider on your checklist is everything around you okay? Listen, you can't hear anything. But I am in one of those enviable positions, and it's not actually as hunky-dory as some people might think, but I live alone. So but I used to write when I used to write nonfiction content to help pay our bills. I was also in a position of raising 6 kids, and I had a husband that was in and out and work so often it just used to make my head spin. But, at the moment, so while I have this situation now, it wasn't always that way. And I do understand that things like family stresses, money stresses, kids running around because it's school holidays and they've got nothing else to do and they're bored, mum, and they want you all the time. I do understand the pressure of what having a family can be and how it is really difficult to carve some time out for yourself. And in those cases, I know it's trite and true, but unfortunately it is true. You need to try and find at least like half an hour in a day where you can sit and have a bit of space for yourself. Send your other partner out with kiddies. I don't know, sit them down in front of a movie. I can't say as much about household stresses and family stresses, but if you've got those, you need to find time for your own mental health as well as your writing, a time in a day that you can call your own. And if that means getting up half an hour earlier, then don't think because imagine how energized you'd feel for the rest of the day if you got your word count down before anybody else in the house woke up. And honestly, if your life's that hectic that you just cannot get that half an hour, then take your writing device into the toilet and lock the door. And if anybody bangs on it, tell them that you're busy and to leave you alone and write in the bathroom if you have to. Anyway, just get that next scene done as best you can, but find the time that works best for you. The final thing on the checklist has to be said. It has to be noted. Do you really want to do this? because there are a lot of people who dream about writing. There are a lot of people who hope that they could write. There are a lot of people who would love to live like I do and spend their time at home all day wearing, you know, big comfy sweatshirts and not having to worry about makeup and all that other stuff, and who could just relax and live their lives. But to write story writing takes persistence. It takes discipline and a hell of a lot of a, I'm going to do this, damn it, type of attitude. So if you truly want to do this and you feel that in yourself, then keep listening. One of the most common things that happens to me on the odd occasion when I get writer's block is when I'm about halfway through a book and then all of a sudden the words just stop. It's like I still sit down every day to write. And I mean, perhaps I should back up a couple of steps. You need to sit down. You need to have a device open. You need to have your writing document open. We're just going to take that as a given. Okay, so somewhere in your day, if you want words to come, you have to create that situation where they can. But assuming you've done all those things, there are times when I write and the words, it's like finding hen's teeth. I'll write a sentence and then I'll sit and think about it. And that's not me. Usually when I'm writing, I can see the scene playing like a movie in my head and I just write it and it just goes, and that's how I write. But there are times when that doesn't happen. And when that happens, and God, I hate it when it does, I'll go through my checklist. Am I feeling emotionally okay? Is everything okay in my environment around me? Is this what I want to do? When I've ticked yes, 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 then I realize that the issue is me and not what something is going on around me. And then that delete key starts calling my name and I think, oh my God, this is crap. This is crap. I'm going to have to delete. But it's not that. It's not that. Don't ever do that. What I do is I'll go back to the start of my story and I'll read it as a reader, not an author, but a reader. And I will find, as I'm reading, there'll be a point where there's a disconnect, where something a character has done or something a character has said or some action or what have you, it doesn't feel right. And I hate to be all sort of arty-farty about it, but that's honestly, you've read books before, you know what I mean. There's sometimes you just feel like the author's flogging a dead horse and they shouldn't be, you know. So when that happens, that's when I get the delete key and I will go from that point where I feel that disconnect, because I like to think of my stories like a bit of a spell or a plait that you're making, you know, and it all just flows. And then when it doesn't, when there's a knot or where there's a tie or where something doesn't work, from that point onward, I will delete. And then I will go back and I will turn that scene 180 degrees around. I will flip it and I'll go in totally the opposite direction. And usually those words will come again. So one of the reasons that your words might not come is because you've gone the wrong way. And that's your muse, if you like, telling yourself, go back, you've done the wrong thing. Okay. And if that doesn't help, and there are cases like this where you see, you might have already planned all this story out. You might know exactly what's going to happen in every chapter and everything else, but you're really struggling to get the words down. They're just not coming.
I don't know that one.
Oh, okay. Now my Alexa thought it would chime in. Never mind. But where if you can't get the words and it just doesn't feel right, or maybe you're just not feeling it, then leave the delete key alone, write a bit. But if it's not coming and if it really feels like hard work, because writing is something that you need to be disciplined for, but it shouldn't be hard work. If it feels like it is, then simply save what you've written and open up a new document and write yourself something else. A totally different story in a totally different world with a totally different vibe and a totally different set of characters, and write yourself something else. You're still not getting rid of what you've already done. That story will get finished, but it's like giving your brain a bit of a holiday. Go and write yourself something else and start something else. And I do this a lot of times. Writing more than one book at a time not only helps with your productivity, but it also gives your brain a bit of a rest. Now, I am quite lucky. I think at the moment, my PA did work it out the other day. I think I've got 10 series that are finished, but I've got like another 7 series that are open, and they're different ones. They're all in the paranormal sphere because that's what I write, but they are all different. They have different moods, different vibes, different lengths of stories in them and things like that. So I do have a lot I can write. And so if I'm struggling with something really heavy in one of my stories one day, I can open up a file and start a story on something else that might be lighthearted and just fun to write. And sometimes my readers are, they keep saying, "Oh, when are you going to write such and such a story?" But then they also, when I say, "Oh, well, look, my muse went off track and I actually wrote this one instead," they're actually really forgiving of that. And I truly appreciate them for it. But by writing 2 work in progresses at the same time, you're giving your brain a holiday. You are increasing your productivity. And the really neat thing is what you'll find, as I was explaining this to my daughter the other day, when you do this, you will find you might match word for word, the word count on both stories to a certain point. And then for some reason, one of those stories will just take over and it will want to be finished. And that's cool. You then devote all your time to that one story. But the really neat thing is when you've typed the end on that one, you've still got like 10, 20,000 words of another one already written that you can just go back and finish. So that is another reason for doing this. And you're probably thinking at me, excuse me, Lisa, we've just said that we can't get the words to come at all, and you're telling us now to write 2 books? Yes, I am telling you now to write 2 books because it can be done, and it's actually a lot of fun. And it allows you to stretch your creativity, stretch your muse, and it just like injects a bit more enthusiasm into what you're doing. So definitely, yes, if you can do it, juggle 2 work in progresses at the same time. And if you're a planner, I imagine that'll probably be a lot easier. But as I say, I'm a pantser, so that doesn't work that way for me. But I do find having the 2 books, like I was writing with doing a collaboration with JP Sale. We write really quickly when we write together because of our differences in time zones. I think I've explained that before. But we finished our secret project thing that we were doing for later on this year. We finished that last Friday. And then, I wrote, I don't know how many words for that, about 1,000 words or something, just to finish my part of that off, and then sent that to her. And then I was energized enough to write another 5,000 words to finish my my demon book that I was writing. And it was like, oh my God. And I was like, where did I get all that energy? But it came because I'd actually got into the writing vibe, writing something else and typing the end. And I was so enthusiastic about that. I then turned around and finished my own book as well. And I'm actually going to start on my other channel here on YouTube, on Lisa Writes. I'm actually going to start a new book there. It will be over this weekend. It will have started by the time you see this video, where I'm writing every day, and I'm going to write a book online for 30 days, basically to show that it can be done. And so if you want to actually write along with me, either, doing it as a writing sprint and just feeling like you're writing with someone else, because, writing is quite a solitary profession, or you just want to actually watch me do what I talk about, then hey, hop on over to Lisa Wrights and look for my 30-day challenge there, because yep, those videos, there should be a couple of them already up by the time this video comes out. The one more thing I do need to mention about what to do when the words don't come is writing does take persistence. It does take self-discipline. You are your own boss. So the only one you have to blame if you haven't got the words on the paper is yourself. But this isn't a blame game. You are also the only one who can kick your butt and make it happen. And if you really want it, and this is why I ask, do you really want it? If you want that, if you want a lifestyle like mine, or you want to hold your very first paperback in your hand for the first time, or you just want to share the stories that fill up your brain, if you want it that badly, then you will, but you are the one who has to make it happen, because there isn't anybody that can do it for you. I can write alongside you. I can give you all the advice and help and tips in the world. But if you want to write and you want to share your stories, then you have to sit down and write, because that's, I don't know if anybody's written standing up. Maybe I should Google it and find out if anybody has actually written a whole book standing up. Could be an interesting. If anybody knows, let me know in the comments below. But anyway, as I say, so I am doing a 30-day challenge over on Lisa Wrights. That poor channel has also been neglected to crap. So I thought, all right, we'll go and do a thing over there. And so that you can see that whole process of using it as a writing sprint, because I'll have timers up and everything else on the screen. So you can use it as a writing sprint thing, which might help you in your own writing, or you can read over my shoulder and see what on earth it is that I write. Or maybe it's just that visual thing of seeing somebody else do something that you want to do. So if you're interested in that, click over to my Lisa Wrights channel. I'll put a link for that in the description below, and go and have a look and just see if that's something that you might be interested in. In the meantime, although I talk about writing being hard work, and it is, as you already know, it should also be fun. And I want you to have fun with what you're doing. So look at it, look at your writing as being a fun and productive way of evading reality for a while. And Lord knows we could all probably do with a bit of that. Make that time to write every day. Set yourself realistic writing goals, or at least once a week. I realize, as I said, every day, that not everybody, it's not possible for everybody to do that if they've got jobs and things like that. But you need at least once a week, my friends. And set yourself realistic word count goals while you do that, you know, for you, that you want to achieve with every writing session you do. Be realistic. I mentioned 5,000 words earlier in this video. That is really, really unusual for me. If I can do 1,000, I count myself lucky. If I do 100 words, then I've written for the day. You know, you don't go beating yourself up if you, that's what I mean about setting realistic targets. At the moment, my targets used to be 3,000 words a day, because I learned to write my fiction books during NaNoWriMo, and back when it used to be 3,000 words a day. But, you know, after my own health issues and my own concerns and my own stresses and mental health and what have you, I now sit at 1,000 words. If I can write 1,000 words a day, I can get a book written in 6 weeks. What more do I need? You know, so long as I keep writing. And that's the key. Setting yourself realistic goals. Then you feel better about achieving them. Then those words are easier to keep going. So don't go beating up on yourself. Just enjoy what you're doing and keep writing. And don't forget, when you have like maybe achieved those goals, those writing goals for a week or something, to give yourself a treat as well, because the same as we're our own bosses, and we need to kick our own butts, we're also the one who has to give ourselves those little treats and bonuses every now and again. Otherwise, it's not worth doing at all. So, my friends, I hope I've helped. If you can hit the like and subscribe button, that would be awesome. Please drop your comments below if there's anything else I can help you with, or if there's anything you're not sure about, or if there's anything that you want help with on your writing journey. Check out my other videos on this channel. I know I had a bit of a break there, but some of the older content is still really relevant. So maybe check that out as well. And in the meantime, hug the ones you love, my friends, and I'll catch you in the next video. Bye.